Okay, so inheritance in Java. So inheritance in Java, that is very much important concept, and it is used in your daily program, daily coding. So whenever you will be doing the coding or working on projects, so inheritance concept you might be you might be using a lot of times. So inheritance in Java is basically inheritance is a important concept in the object oriented programming. So where it gives the concept of reusability. So reusability means if you have some class and few methods and attributes, some variables that can be reused by other class. So that is the place where inheritance comes into picture. So in Java, inheritance means you are trying to relate two objects. One object is parent object, or you can say parent class, and there is child object, that is child class. So the relationship between child class to parent class is a relationship. So the name of that relationship is a relationship. So if, for example, you say that, if I say uh, every employee or citizen is a human, so human is a parent class, and citizen or employee, it is a child class. So the relationship between employee and human is a relationship. You can so say that every employee is a human. Okay, the parent class, which has some attributes and methods that can be shared, that can be reused by any child class. So that parent class is called superclass, and the child class is, you can say that it is a child class or subordinate class. Okay, so that's where you will always have two classes, one is parent class, one is child class. Child class will extend the parent class and will reuse the properties and methods available in your parent class. Okay, so in this Java section, in this section, I will explain about basics, how you can write the um, in a program using inheritance, and then I will talk about accessibility of the protected method. We will see how your public and private variables and methods can be accessed by your child classes. Then we will talk about constructor chaining. Okay, then talk about private constructor, what is private constructor. Then we will understand super, so method overriding. Then we will try to create the parent reference from the child object. Then finally we will talk about final class or methods. So this is what we will try to cover in inheritance. Okay, let's try to do one working example to understand inheritance better. So I have created few things in advance. I will go through with you. Okay, let's close everything. Let's think about a class which is called animal. So animal is a class which has certain attribute, certain common attribute and methods. So let's have a class animal. Okay, so what I will do here, I am going to comment few of the things which you don't need to concentrate right now. I will explain everything in a order. Okay, so let's see, I have four properties of animal. These are common properties. So Okay, so common properties are like name. Every animal will have a name, its breed, what food it eats. So it will eat some food, it will drink something, and it will make some sound. Okay, so these are the common properties I have put those one as a private because I want the properties should be private in this class and will expose to outside of this class through methods. So I have methods like eats. So if it whatever food you will provide, it will eat. So we will set some food here for that animal. So it will drink something, and what it will drink I will set it here. Same time it will make some sound. What sound it will make I will set it here. Okay, and it will have some name, and we are setting the name over here. It will have breed, and we are setting breed from here. So this is very much common properties and common methods that an animal can have. Okay, so this is I'm making as a class which has all the common properties and its method. Let's try to make its child classes. So animal can be pet animal or it can be wild animal. So let's think about pet animal. Let's say if I have made any changes in the animal. So pet animal extends. So extends is the keyword in Java that is used to denote the inheritance. Okay. So pet animal is extending animal. It means that it will reuse the properties and methods. So in this case I have encapsulated all the properties into a method. So it will basically try to reuse the methods available in the parent class. Apart from those parent class variable and methods, pet animal has something its own variable and methods. So again I am using private string. The the attribute what I am using for pet animal, that is owner. So every pet animal has owner. Otherwise we cannot say that it is a pet animal. So I am setting the who is the owner, and I am trying to find out here if I want to get the name of the owner. Okay, so here if you see here, pet animal is a animal. That is the relationship I am trying to explain here. Then we will have some class called, let's close this one. Then we will have some class called wild animal. So wild animal is also having few name and few properties. So say I am putting property for example as location. It means that where that wild animal can be found. Okay, so I am setting that location. I am creating one attribute called location, and it's getter and setter. So it means that I will set the location and I will try to get the location of this wild animal. Okay, let's try to create one more class, say cat. Okay, so cat is the class which extends pet animal. Okay, because cat is a pet animal. If I want to say cat is a pet animal, this is the way I can give the relationship. So cat class is extending a class called pet animal, which we have already created. In this class I am not creating any property. It means that right now I don't need it. If I need, I can create it. But whatever property available till pet animal, because pet animal is already extending the animal, so all the properties of pet animal plus any properties of animal can be accessed in the cat class. Okay, so in the cat class what I am doing, I am creating one constructor so that I can, if I want to create the object of the class, while creating the object of the cat class, I can provide the all the details of that class here and set it there. Okay, so if you see here, set name is the method which is available in the animal. Okay, if you see here, this method is available in the animal class. Okay, that one is accessible here. So I am setting a name of the animal, mean name of the cat, using the method which is defined in the animal class here, which is second level of hierarchy. So cat is extending pet animal and pet animal is extending animal. So this is called multi level of hierarchy. Okay, so where you have first level, second level, you can have n level, right? Third level, fourth level also. Okay, so same time we are setting set owner, set breed, set what it drinks, and set what it eats. Okay, then in this class I am overriding toString the method which is available in the object class. If I want to override, I can write some custom message here. So here I want to put the custom message name is of this breed, okay, and belong to Mr. or Mrs. owner. Okay, then second statement I say name, this animal name, drinks, whatever I will pass that drink, name of the drink, and whatever I will pass to whatever food I will pass, it will eat it. So the statement I want to put, name of the animal is of that breed and belong to this owner, and this particular animal drinks whatever I have provided and eats whatever I will provide. Okay, similar type of, we have one lion animal. So we know that lion is a wild animal, so we will put as a lion extends wild animal. Okay, similarly I will create one private constructor for lion where I can pass all the values which are related to a lion, which are applicable to the lion and wild animal. I will put those parameters over here and set here. So if you see here, we are calling set name, we are calling set location, set breed, set drink, and set food. So these are the methods available. If you want to see what are the methods available, so set breed, set drink, set food, set location, set name, and set sound. These are the methods which are available. If you see here, the class where that set food or set location have been defined, you can see here it is from animal, set location is from wild animal. But those methods, because we are lion is extending wild animal and wild animal is extending animal, that's reason we are seeing all the methods available in this chat class. Okay, same time I am creating one overridden method. I will tell you override in the next few minutes in the next slide. So toString is basically I am trying to put one custom message. Same thing here, I will want to put name of that animal is of this breed and stays in this location because it is wild animal, and that animal drinks this particular thing and eats these particular things. Okay, I hope you understood this extending concept. Let's try to test it. So for testing, I created one class called inheritance. So I'm first creating one cat. Okay, so I'm creating one cat class. I'm creating the object of cat class. So this is how I will call the constructor. So in the constructor, These are the things which are available in the constructor. If you see the constructor of that cat class, it has name, owner, breed, sound, food and drink. Okay, so I'm passing Max is the name of cat, Rocky is the name owner of that cat, Indian Desi is the breed. For example, I have given, it says meow, that is a sounds. It eats say rice, sometime mouse because it is non-veg also, and it drinks milk and water. So these are the things it I can pass in the cat. So when I once I run this, once I try to print the cat, so it will automatically call the toString method from the cat. Okay, let's run it. So if you run this one, the result what you can see here is max of, that is the name. Okay, this is the name of the animal of this breed, Indian Desi breed, and belong to Mr. Mrs. Rocky. Okay, and then Max drinks milk and water. I have passed as a what it drinks, and what it eats I am passing as a rice and sometime mouse. So this statement you can print by using the inheritance. So here you have seen that you have created, you have not created any method or value or any method or variable inside your child class, that is the cat here. Whatever properties, whatever methods you want to create, you have created in the parent class. So parent class of the cat is pet animal, which has some one attribute, that is the owner, and it is calling the rest of the attribute and methods from its parent class, that is animal. Okay, let's try to see another line. So I have created one object of line here. Okay, so I am passing, if you see the constructor of line, it takes name, location where that wild animal stays, and what is the breed, how it makes sounds, and what it eats, what it drinks, and those values I am setting using setters, and these setters are available in its parent class. Parent class means wild class, and their parent class, that is animal. So these methods are available in the wild animal and animal classes. Okay, so I am passing those constructor values from here. Say Babbar Sher, I have given the name, it presents in Delhi Zoo, it is an Indian breed, it makes some sound like this, and what it eats other animal and human also, and it drinks say water. And then I am trying to print line. Okay, if I run this, you will see that Babbar Sher is of Indian breed and stays in Delhi Zoo. Babbar Sher drinks water and eats other animal and humans. So this statement is coming from the concept that we have used here is inheritance. Okay, so let's see few more things. Let's try to understand a little bit complexity of this inheritance. So far we have understood very much plain concept of inheritance. So this is the very much basic. So let's try to see something more. Okay, let's see about constructor. How do you use constructor in inheritance? So in inheritance, when you create the object of your child class, because you are extending the parent class, the parent class will be, the object of parent class will be automatically created. So whenever you are creating the instance of any class, the default constructor will be invoked. So if you write the default constructor in your classes, it will be called. So suppose in the cat class, for example, cat class, if I create a default constructor, which I already have created, I just uncommented it, which I have commented it earlier, now I am uncommenting it. So cat has a default constructor. Okay, so default constructor I am putting in default cat constructor, which is standing pet animal. So if I go to pet animal, I will create one default constructor in pet animal and say that pet animal default constructor in the system out.println in the constructor. This pet animal is standing animal. So in animal I will create a default constructor and say as animal default constructor. Okay, so in test inheritance, if you call the object of if you create the instance of cat class, here if you see the how you are creating the instance of class, you are calling the constructor that is parameterized constructor. So if you're not calling a parameterized constructor, it means that you are calling a default constructor. But here you are specific to create a constructor which is parameterized, so it will not call the constructor of cat class. It will not call the default constructor of cat class. What is default constructor? Any constructor which doesn't have parameter is called default constructor. So if I run this, if you see here, it did not call the default constructor of cat, because here we are calling through parameterized constructor, but it called the default constructor of the animal, that is the parent most. Then it called the default constructor of animal, pet animal. So whenever you create the object of the any class, if that class extends some other class, then it will first create the object of its parent, then it will create the object of itself. So when you create the object, of course you will call the constructor. So in this case of inheritance, when you create the object of your child class, the constructor of the parent classes will be called. The constructor, when I say constructor, here it is default constructor. Okay, now if you create, say I create one cat 2 is equal to new cat. Okay, in this I have created the object of the class cat without using any parameter, means using default constructor, and because this cat class has default constructor as well. Okay, so if you call this one, it calls animal default constructor, then pet animal default constructor, and this is the second statement for the cat. So let's run it again to see that. Sorry, I need to comment this one. So you will see that animal default constructor, then pet animal default constructor, then finally it created the constructor for itself. It called the constructor for itself. So first it will call the constructor of parent most, that is animal, then next parent, then itself. So this is how, this is called chaining of the constructor. You can create the, once you create the object, it will create the object for its parent classes. That is what your chaining of the object will come into picture. Okay, let's okay, no problem, let's have it as it is. Now Java doesn't provide the multiple inheritance. What does it mean? When you try to inherit the properties from two classes at a time, you cannot do. So here, in the case of say cat, when I try to, suppose cat is a wild animal as well as pet animal, for example, if it's, because cat also found in the forest also, say it can be wild animals. So if I say cat extends pet animal as well as wild animal, I cannot do this. This is not feasible in Java. Okay, you can do either wild animal or pet animal. So if you say, if I say put if I say extends wild animal, I cannot use get owner, because get owner doesn't belong to wild animal class, it belongs to pet animal. So I cannot create, I cannot extend from multiple classes. So Java does not provide multiple inheritance. Okay, one thing to remember here is any class sorry, I meant to say that what it says, if I try to extend from the same class, that is called cyclic detection. So when you are trying to extend the same class from the same class, it is a compilation problem, you cannot do that. So that why you cannot do it, will say that it is cyclic detection of type cat, cannot extend implement itself. Okay, so extension inheritance doesn't happen within one class, it always happens from the two classes. It happens between two classes, one class is a child class, one class can be parent class. So there is, it is not in the general sense also, I cannot say that one class is the child of itself. Okay, so that is not possible. Okay, let's try to see the other facts of let's see that what is the visibility of constructor. Type class need visibility of implicit constructor or superclass. Okay, so that's what we have just seen that. So whenever you create the cat, it should have the visibility of the constructor of your parent class. Okay, so if you have something called lion and I have wild class, wild animal. So in wild animal, okay, let's take the example of cat itself. So cat has pet animal. So pet animal has a constructor that is public. What if I make the accessibility of animal constructor as private? So private constructor, if you make a private constructor, then it cannot be extended. So if you see here, pet animal cannot extend animal. Okay, so it should have the visibility of parent constructor, means super constructor. When I say super here, it is always denotes it denotes the instance of the parent class object. Okay, so if you see here, wild animal does not, it cannot extend animal class because we have one private constructor in animal class. So this could be an interview question, and if someone asks that how can I avoid a class to be extended by anyone else, so this is the way you can avoid a class so that no one can extend it. You can create one default constructor and no one can extend that class. Okay, that is one thing. So let's make it back as a public constructor. Okay, suppose I have one constructor here. Let me show you how to use the super. So I want to give a string name in constructor. So this name will be set to the value of class. Okay, now I have created one parameterized constructor. So lion, or say cat is extending this one. So here I can say that super, it is calling the super pet animal. So it, in cat I cannot call the super of animal because that is the next level of inheritance. So when you are trying to go upside, you can go to the next level only. So here I can create only super class of animal, pet animal. But in pet animal, if I go here, I can do here super of, I will pass some name, you can say custom name. Okay, so when you pass a custom name, when you are giving a pet animal, and in pet animal constructor you are calling the super, then you are passing one custom name. So it will come here to animal and it will call this constructor and set this name as name what you pass. Okay, so now if you run this test inheritance for cat, passing all the parameters, okay, because you are passing the name of cat is a max. Let's see. So here max is going to, when you create this cat, because you are calling the constructor of this one and this calls pet animal, and the pet animal you are setting this custom name. Okay, so that will go to your animal. So once you do it here, so what will happen, because you are calling here, let's say first the output. So here it is still giving you name as a max. So whatever value you are providing while creating this uh, new cat, you are providing the max, and it is the value which is printing in the output. But we are not able to see, we want to see something like custom name, that should be the name of the animal, because that we have set separately in the pet animal, saying that whenever it call the constructor of the pet animal, it will set the custom name to the parent object's property. So because we have created the constructor inside the default constructor, but default constructor we are not calling, we are calling the parameterized constructor. So let's move this one and put it here. Okay, I will remove, because super, when you put super, it should be always your first statement, because you don't want to give the name of name of the your cat from your from your this constructor. You want to use the super one. So once you run it, you should be able to see that the name of the animal has been changed. Why? Because I'm not setting from here, I am setting from super. So when you call super, it will call the constructor of pet animal, and in that I'm setting the name of that property which is available in the animal class from its child class. So the purpose of super class is when you are trying to send some message from your child class to parent class, it's just parent class, not the next level, then super will be used. Okay, so we have understood basic inheritance, we have understood private constructor, we understood constructor chaining, and then we have understood the concept of super. Let's try to see something more. Okay, there is so in inheritance we have one concept called method overriding. So method overriding is the concept which provides polymorphism. This is called dynamic polymorphism. So method overloading is a static polymorphism that happens in a single class, but method overriding is a dynamic polymorphism which happens in the case of inheritance. Once one object is extending, one class is extending the other class, so that is the place where method overriding will come into picture, and that is the concept of dynamic polymorphism. So let's play with little bit on overriding. So overriding means suppose you have some method. Let's create other let's create one new class, say that test overriding. Okay, so let's have one very much small class, say class, why not we can let's use the existing class itself. So I have animal class, okay, and which has few methods that says that it eats food. Okay, let's try to what, let me think about some better example. Okay, let's try it from the fresh one. We will not use the animal because animal I have made a lot of attributes. Let's try to do with this simple one. So let's say class A here. Okay, it has some method called method, name of the method is say method. I am giving as public void main. Here I am saying that in method of class A. Okay, let's create another class B that extends A, where I have said that there is another method called, let's put this method as a let's create another method inside class B, method B. So in the method of class B, so in method B class B of class B, and in method A of class A. Okay, let's create the object of class B. B is equal to new B. Okay, let's call B dot sorry, it is main method. I forgot to create the main method. So sys out B dot method. If you see here, both methods are available here. Okay, if I say this method is a private, then only method B will be available. Okay, so as I said earlier, when you use println, the value of whatever you are putting inside println, it should return something. So in this case, method B return nothing, so I cannot put into the println sys out. So what I have done, I have created the sys out inside this method itself. So once you call this one, in method B of class B. Okay, let's make it public. So here I want to explain about method overriding. So method overriding means, as of now, you can call B dot method A, so you can print the value of the method, whatever logic I have written in method B and method A, so that those sys out you can see here. Okay, now let's do the method overriding. Method overriding is nothing but when you, whatever method you have in your parent class, if you write the same method in child class, then this is called method overriding. Why do we do that? So method overriding is done in those situations where you want to differ from the behavior of your parent class. Suppose your parent were doing some action, say in terms of your daily life example. Suppose your parents were doing some sorts of some say donation. Okay, but they were doing donation in certain way. That's nothing but donation is the method name, and whatever the way of donation they were doing, that is the logic written in that method. So that donation, you want to, as a child, you don't want to follow the same thing. You will do the donation, but in different, you want to do some different way. So let's say that as a parent, they will do some donation. Okay, so they will say that donate to poor people. Okay, and